All right, so we're going to pick up where we left off. In the last video, we learned how to convert fractions to decimals using division. Here, we're going to convert fractions to decimals using one of the basic ideas of place value. All right, so when we write a number as a decimal, um, it'll look like this. So we've got our decimal point, and to the left of our decimal point, we have our wholes. We have our ones, we've got our tens, our hundreds, our thousands, our 10,000s, and so on. And these you kind of know what these mean. A 10 is 10 ones, and 100 is 100 ones, and 10 tens, and so on and so forth. Now, to the right of the decimals, we have tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. These can actually be written as fractions. Okay, so let's go ahead and just delete that. When I have a decimal like 0.6, okay, that means I have 6 tenths. Well, guess what? We can write 6 tenths as 6 over 10. Literally means the same thing. 6 tenths, 6 tenths. We can simplify this to 3/5. Okay, so that's a real easy way of converting a decimal to a fraction, which we'll get into later in this video. But what that also means is we can take numbers, we can take fractions like 2/5. And what I'm thinking in my head is what's an equivalent fraction to 2/5 that has like a 10 in the denominator or a 100 in the denominator, or maybe even 1,000 in the denominator. Let's take a look. Well, I can definitely multiply this times 2, okay? I can multiply the bottom times 2 to get 10, and if I multiply the top times 2, I'll get 4 tenths, okay? So I multiplied by 2 on the top and the bottom, and these fractions are equal. So 4 tenths, I can write that as 4 by putting a 4 in the tenths place. So 2/5 and 0.4 are the same thing. And I promise you, if you do the long division, you'll get the same answer. So if we take 2 and we divide by 5, 2 divided by 5, well, look at that. 5 goes into 20 4 times. Okay? I think this way is a little bit easier. I just doubled this number in my head, and I can see that that'll give me 4 tenths. Maybe I'm flying through this a little too fast. Let's do another example. Oh, you can only do this. You can't do this with numbers like 1/7 because I can't multiply 1 over 7 because I can't multiply 7 by something to get a 10 or 100 or 1,000. Okay, so this only works with certain numbers, but it's good to keep your eyes open for those numbers. Now, for example, 1/4. Now, I can't multiply this something to get a 10 in the denominator, but I can multiply 4 by something to get 100 in the denominator. Okay, and that number would be, if I multiply times 25. Well, 4 times 25 is 100. I have to do the same thing to the top. 1 times 25 is 25. So that means 1/4 is 25 hundredths, and I can write that as a decimal by saying 0.25. This is 5 hundredths and 2 tenths, which is equal to 25 hundredths. Okay, I just took this and I kind of moved the decimal point 2 places to the left. Get rid of that decimal though. Okay, let's try another one. Let's take 7 over 20. Now, 20, I hope you can see, I can multiply 20 by something to get 100, and that thing would be 5. 5 times 20 is 100. Do the same thing to 7. 7 times 5 is 35 over 100, so that means that 7 over 20 is 0.35. Okay, that's a quick and easy way to convert some fractions to decimals. Now, you can only do this with numbers that will divide evenly into powers of 10. So into tenths, hundredths, thousands. We probably wouldn't want to do it for thousands, but mainly look for these things that'll go into 10 and 100. So some of the fractions that do this easily are things with denominators of 4, 2, 5. Well, 10 is already done for you. Let's see, 20, 25. Am I missing anything? So these you can convert into tenths, and these you can convert into hundreds. 50, so if you had 1/50th, that would be really easy to convert to a decimal. Things like that. Basically, you're looking for denominators that are factors of 10 or 100, and you can use that method. Okay, but now that we've learned that, we're actually going to use kind of that method in reverse to convert decimals to fractions. Okay, let's say you've got the decimal 0.36, and you want to write this as a fraction. Okay, maybe you need to multiply fractions or something. We want this as a fraction. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, well, 0.36 is 36 hundredths. 6 hundredths, 3 tenths, that's 36 hundredths. And then you're just going to take this and simplify it. Let's see, 36 is divisible by 4, so is 100. So this is going to be equal to, divide by 4 on the top, you get 9, and 4 on the bottom, you get 25. I didn't give myself a whole lot of room to do that. Well, I'll tell you, let's do this a different way. I already wrote my equal sign. Let's divide the top by 4 and the bottom by 4, and that will give me 9/25. Let's not skip steps. Okay, and this works with any decimal that ends like this, a terminating decimal. So if we have 0.27, 0.27, I'm just going to say that this is 27/100. It's 27 hundredths. That's what this says. That's what our place value tells us. Okay, and I can't simplify this, so there's my fraction, done in one step. Let's just say we have 6 hundredths. That's an easy one, right? This is no tenths, 6 hundredths, so I'm just going to write that out, 6/100, and then look for common factors to simplify. Well, I can divide the top and the bottom by 2, so that's going to give me 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 100 divided by 2 is 50. There we go. It's as simple as that. If you have any questions, let me know.